Welcome to Moving On TV, and today we're going to do the holistic show. I've decided to do a series of programs around vitamins and minerals and supplements because, I don't know, like myself and a lot of people out there, we don't actually know what to do these days, what to take, what's the best thing to do. And today we're going to start with the vitamin D. Now the reason I decided to do this program is because a couple of days ago I was on the internet and I saw this video that came up about vitamin D and how cholecalciferol, which is usually what's in vitamin D when they give it to you most of the time, D3, is actually a rat poison. And then of course that kind of put me into total panic and total fear, and I didn't know what to do with myself. So I thought, well, in order to get rid of my fears and to help a lot of other people out there, I will invite on some people that I trust, and nutritionists, holistic therapists that have been working in this field for years and years and years, and ask them the questions that need to be asked to make it very, very simple for all of us to know the truth. And that's what you're going to get today. So the first thing I need to say to you, that everyone I've spoken to has told me that they do not know one case of someone being poisoned by vitamin D3. Okay, so that can put your mind at rest straight away. And so today I've got Rebecca Briggs from Bio-Mineral Balance, and we're going to talk to her a little bit, as I say, about vitamin D, what it is, what it isn't, how can you get it. If you're a vegan or you're a meat eater, how do you get your vitamin D? Do you need to supplement it? How should you take it? Etc, etc, etc. So it's really good to have you here today, Rebecca. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you, Lauren.
Good, wonderful. So would you like to tell us a little bit about the background of vitamin D?
Well, firstly, there's two types of vitamin D. You've got vitamin D3 and vitamin D2. Now, vitamin D3 is actually made by the human body, whereas D2 is synthetic and made through plants, through photosynthesis, and then it's chemically made. So D3 is what we need.
So vitamin D, you were saying, was made of
cholecalciferol, which is vitamin D3, and then we have ergocalciferol, which is vitamin D2. The D3 is what we need, and that's what's bioavailable and natural to the human body, and what we already make in our bodies.
Okay, so the D3 is the one that we need to focus on in order to stay well.
Yeah.
Now, we get that really from the sunshine, mainly, don't we?
That's the best way.
The best way is to lie in the sun,
yeah,
and get your vitamin D3 that way.
Yeah.
So we have an unfortunate situation in the UK where we really don't have hardly any sun for quite a long time.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do?
Well, I mean, not only do we not have enough sun, but unfortunately we spend far too many hours indoors compared to, 50, 60 years ago. We all had, labourous jobs, outside work, and now we spend more times indoors watching TV, on computer games and things like that, and that's basically what's leading to this real bad deficiency that's out there.
Yes, and apparently a deficiency of D3 can cause depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, anything really. Every single condition that's out there,
yeah.
The exhaustion that they call ME, all the conditions of this century, basically.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Well, yeah, you're very right there, but all in all, as I said, vitamin D is almost like a hormone as well. So it affects your endocrine system, which is all your hormones, your cardiovascular system, your central nervous system, your respiratory system, your digestive system,
everything,
your skeletal system, urinary and reproductive systems, your lymphatic system, and your skin. So it really does affect everything in your body.
It does. I mean, it affects your physical body, and of course it also affects your emotions. I mean, don't you notice when the sun smiling. It's not just psychological. It's very, very connected, isn't it?
Yeah.
The mind, body, spirit connection. Okay, and I mean the other as well is we've got dark skin. I mean my skin is very olivey, and you're even darker than mine. And I've heard cases of people that have come from Africa and countries like that their levels are so low, that they have to have quite a lot of vitamin D3. So how do you determine your levels, first of all? What do you need to do to find out?
If you're of a darker skin persuasion and you live in Europe or the UK, then you will be deficient. There's no doubt about it. So you know, it's best to be prepared and to, you know, supplement as if you are deficient.
Sorry, can you explain why? Why do people have whiter skin or paler skin not need as much vitamin D3? Why is that?
And carbon is both related to the body, and we need vitamin D in order for all those processes to work. So, for instance, darker skinned people, they can absorb vitamin D far more easier and utilise it far more better. But because of that, they actually need more. So this is where their deficiencies come in greater than somebody, you know, of a lighter skin persuasion.
That makes a lot of sense, You see, I was actually born with a vitamin D deficiency where my knees went inwards. Rickets, and then luckily we went to live in a hot country, so I was brought up in a hot country where I continuously got my vitamin D, and then when I came back to England I started to suffer quite a lot, but now we're becoming more and more aware of it. Okay, so coming back to the question again, what's the best way to find out what your levels are and if you're deficient?
Well, to get a definitive answer would probably be to actually have a test done with your doctor, or have it done privately. Unfortunately, most doctors only have about an hour's worth of hormonal training, which includes vitamin D. So normally they are not very good at calculating the levels between each race, for example. So they will have a baseline of, you know, you may need, you know, 30 as a percentage level of vitamin D, but you know, that could be far greater in a darker skinned person to a white person.
Sure.
So
I see.
they're not great at determining what levels are needed for which people.
So again, it's generic.
Yeah.
So it's not you as a unique person.
No.
So for example, I mean, my levels were 20, which is very low.
That's very low.
I was told they're supposed to be somewhere up in about 125.
But if my levels were 20, then how it would affect me would probably be even greater than how it would affect you.
Oh, I see. You see, I never knew any of this. This is why we're doing this program. We're doing this program because you go to your doctor and you get your vitamin D tested, but they don't take into account the type of skin you've got. And then, because if you've got darker skin, you're going to need your levels to be higher.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So you see, this is what I can never understand, why my husband, who is very pale, he never suffers like I do. You know, a lot of people I know, they don't suffer, and yet I suffer from so many symptoms because of my low levels. Okay, so what do you do? So you find out that your levels are very low, and the doctor usually gives you a huge supplement, which is usually probably knocks you into shock too quickly, I would have thought.
Well, no, the doctor gives you something called D2, which is a synthetic type, which is steroid based, and it causes a lot of problems. It also has aluminium in it as well. So they're not very effective at all, and also how the body absorbs that, it's very inefficient. So for example, if you're taking D3, you get a longer lasting you know, reaction of how it absorbs into your body, whereas D3, it's a sharp spike. Sorry, D2 is a sharp spike, and then the levels just totally drop.
It's like sugar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, I was given a huge dosage and I became really sick. I had to just throw them in the bin. I wouldn't take them anymore. So now